Hello and welcome to episode 6 of our monthly podcast, Business Matters. My name is Kaylynn Winegar. I'm the VP of Workforce Initiatives here at the Chamber. I want to start off by thanking our Paragon sponsor, Royal Credit Union, coming live from the Wind Technologies studio. And as always, if you're listening and interested in sponsoring our podcast, please connect with us here at the Chamber. We would love to have you represented. Today, I have with me Kristen Norgaard, our financial education supervisor from Royal Credit Union. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Wanted to ask you a little bit about the business history of Royal Credit Union and how business has been here in Eau Claire.
Yeah, it's been exciting. So as the financial education supervisor, I spend a lot of time working with our students. So each year we hire 8 high school tellers. They can be either juniors or seniors at North Memorial High School. And it is going well so far. We started our hiring process in March and we are on our way.
How many students do you have hired for this year?
I have 3 hired so far this year.
A few more than last week when I talked to you.
That is right. Yes. And I have another interview this evening. So I'm excited about that.
That's great. What has your relationship with the Chamber looked like? Maybe dive a little bit into youth apprenticeship as it pertains to the topic today and your interest as a business and why you continue to develop this relationship.
Yeah, so we started with Memorial High School in 2002. So since 2002, we have had 64 students come through Memorial High School as interns, and then we started at North High School in 2005. And since then, we've had 46 students at North. So a total of 110 students that have come through our internship so far. And it has been a great experience for everybody that's involved all throughout the credit union. So it's, from our branches, having these high school tellers in at the branches with them. They love having them, to us being in the schools and being able to promote the financial education that we are committed to offering as well.
So do you have banks inside each of the schools, or is it just one of them? What's the ratio like?
Yeah, so we have a branch at North High School and Memorial High School, but we actually have 29 total school sites throughout our footprint. So that is Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Awesome. What does youth apprenticeship development look like to you in the next couple of years? I know that you've had a lot of students. You have one of the most successful youth apprenticeship programs in the area, which is one of the reasons we wanted to have you here today to talk a little bit about that experience. But what does the next couple of years look like for you?
Yeah, so I would love to continue to see the program grow. I'd love to see, more involvement in youth apprentice from all different, areas too. Of course, I'm partial to Royal Credit Union and, I want our program to continue growing, but I want to be able to spread the word for how great of an opportunity youth apprenticeship is. So one thing, Kaylynn, that you and I started working on together is we did a video. And so it's not out officially yet, but so we interviewed a couple of our current high school students as well as one of our former high school students. So even since we met to start that video, our former high school student, so his name is Grant Beardsley, and he started in 2002 at Memorial High School. So he was one of our very first high school students. He has just been promoted to the executive chief legal counsel. So pretty big deal to have, one of our high school students promoted all the way through the ranks.
I really enjoyed hearing his story when we did that video. It was really cool to see the impact that youth apprenticeship had on him, even being one of the first and deciding to come back to Royal Credit Union and grow in your organization. So I appreciated being a part of that.
Yeah. And, it's not even all the way up to executive. So that's very exciting. But we have people that have stayed with the credit union all throughout different areas. So one that comes to mind, we had a student who he's probably 21, probably a couple years out of school at this point, and he has just purchased his first house. He has purchased his first vehicle, and he's just found a lot of success by staying with Royal, staying in the Eau Claire community, and hearing his story of starting as a high school teller and being able to really grow and find out what he wanted to do with his life has been really exciting to hear too.
I think one of the coolest things as a chamber that we've been able to recognize in the students that are here is some of these students know exactly what they want to do for work. in the future. Some don't. And you can find so much opportunity in youth apprenticeship with the various career pathways. Now, I know with Royal Credit Union, most of the students you hire are in finance. Are you interested in any of the other career pathways, or are you currently hiring for any of those?
We are still just hiring for finance, but, within our internship. So, of course, they're high school tellers, and they spend most of their time on the teller line, both in school and actually at one of our regular Royal branches. But we do really put a lot of focus on cross-training them too. So, if a student comes to us and says, I'd really like to be in HR someday, we'll get them that opportunity to cross-train with our relations area, because that's what we want to do. We want to get them those experiences. So any area in the credit union is open for grabs for observations and cross-training.
That's awesome. What an opportunity for the students of this area. And I know you're one of the largest employers that hires youth apprenticeships by having 6 to 8 students every year. I imagine you hope to continue to grow that as students are available. What does retention look like for you? Because we hear quite often from businesses that they're having a hard time retaining staff or even finding staff to apply for open positions. And so when you look at youth apprenticeship and hoping to retain that staff, do you hire any on? Are they still with Grant at your organization?
Yeah, and it definitely fluctuates through the years for sure. But so our 2020 students, for example, we have 4 students from 2020 that are still working with Royal, which is pretty cool. One of the students that I have right now, this school year, he is starting to apply for some of our full-time positions. So I know that for sure I'll have one that will stay on this year. And again, it's all different areas of the credit union. A lot of times they'll stay in the, member accounts area, being on the front line. But, we also have some other programs too, like tuition reimbursement that some of our current students have taken advantage of as well.
That's great. From a business professional standpoint, what excites you the most about working with youth apprenticeship kids?
Yeah, so when I first applied for this job, so I've been in this position for a year. I've been with the credit union for 11 years, but when I started in this position, people were asking me, oh man, high school students, are you sure you want to work with the high school students? And yeah, there are some difficulties for sure. It's their first career they have ever had, but that is the part that is so exciting. We have the opportunity to build their professional career and make an impact on them and really mold what their professional development is going to look like. So yeah, it's very exciting. And, to see the drive that these students have and the determination, and, it's impressive.
It is. So every year, at least 3 years that we've been a part of the Youth Apprenticeship Consortium here as a chamber, we've had what's called the interview days at each of the schools. And I think you've participated for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, since I've been in this role, I've been here for 2 years, but I'm sure we participated before that as well.
How do you feel that those interview days go? What does it do for you as an organization to give you access to students and maybe help with these students developing some of their interview skills?
It is a lot of fun. It's a good opportunity. So what we actually do for interviews, so we come to these interview days and it gives us a chance to get to know these students. So, we kind of just talk through what this internship actually looks like. And so I'm a big believer that, we're interviewing someone, but they're also interviewing us. We want to make sure that it's a good fit both ways. And so what we do is we go to the interview days, and then after that, we bring them in for a formal interview. And we do that formal interview at one of our actual branches. So they get a chance to, answer our questions for sure, but then they go behind our teller line and they spend some time observing, can I really see myself in this role? So we make sure that we, cover those bases before we sign them up to be a full-on teller with Royal.
That's awesome. I love that you kind of brought up workplace culture. How important is that in talking to your upcoming candidates for positions?
Yeah, it's so important. And, my background, I actually started as a high school teller, not with Royal, but with another credit union. I started as a teller when I was 15. And, that really has developed so many of the skills that I have. And I think back to, the mentors that I've had within the credit union movement. And, they've been integral to my growth and my development and my drive and what I want to do with my career. So, I just hope that we can make that same impact on those students.
So, Kristen, let's talk a little bit about advocacy with youth apprenticeship. I know as a chamber, every year there's a really great event called YA Day in the Capitol. We were able to take a student this year who wasn't necessarily working with Royal. However, I know you guys do your own advocacy. Do you want to talk about how you involve your youth apprenticeship kids in that?
Yeah, so that is a really exciting opportunity, and that kind of ends up being the pinnacle of some of the students' careers, some of their pinnacle of their experience with Royal. So we take a couple of our students each year to Madison to visit with the lawmakers, and we've had such success with that, but it's such an awesome opportunity. They get the opportunity to sit down and speak with these lawmakers pretty much one-on-one. They get to talk about the benefits of the Youth Apprentice program, why the funding for that is so important, but then also the benefits to a credit union. Of course, we give back to our communities and we really value the financial education. So we use that as an opportunity to show them, what better way to tell them that we're doing stuff like that than to show them our high school students. And it's been a great experience for the students, and they learn a lot of the etiquette for talking with lawmakers. That can be pretty intimidating. So they go in completely prepared for that opportunity as well.
That's fantastic. I know when we've participated in youth apprenticeship days in the Capitol, just having a student at the table who can share their personal story about why they got involved in youth apprenticeship, why they continue, maybe how supportive their parents have been or people in their lives have been, it just really changes how lawmakers look at this program and its importance. We're one of the few states in the entire nation who has such a robust youth apprenticeship program, and we want to continue that trend. And I don't think that this is a bipartisan issue at all. Most people agree with youth apprenticeship. So when budget time comes around, sharing these stories just really brings it to the forefront for a lot of our legislators. And we thank you for taking time to take your students out for those days.
Yeah. And the lawmakers, when we're in that room, we're in a room with adults, but then those couple high school students, they definitely stand out. And, when the lawmakers look around the room, that's definitely who they want to hear from.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that and for taking time to actually advocate for youth apprenticeship and growing it in this state. We appreciate that. So I do want to go ahead and end today by talking a little bit about why business matters to Royal Credit Union.
Yeah, so we are so committed to being involved in our communities with our students, with our full communities, but with our students. One thing that we're doing is bringing back our test drive program. So formerly, it was Real Life Academy, and we have our first in-person test drive in the last 2 years, and that's happening on Friday. And, that's just another...
This week.
Friday of this week.
Okay.
Yes, it's a big week this week. So this Friday, we are doing our first in-person test drive in the last year. And so what that is, it's a reality fair for high school students. And they pick their career, they pick their schooling, and then they walk through all of the things that you would walk through in a normal day, a life as a 25-year-old. So what are all of the things that you would pay for? Your housing, your transportation, and then all of the little things too, like your entertainment, your what you buy at the beauty store, those kind of things. And so we're really excited to be back with that event, and we're just really committed to providing that financial education to the community.
How many students go through that program?
Yeah, right now we have over 300 that will be coming, and so that is just Eau Claire County.
Okay, and where are you hosting it?
CVTC.
Okay.
At the Business Education Center.
Well, that's fantastic to be able to bring it back in person, and
yes,
hopefully you'll be able to take tons of pictures and engage all the students.
I hope so. Yeah, that is the plan.
So thank you so much to Kristen and for our audience for listening in on Youth Apprenticeship today. I do want to invite our audience to join us for some upcoming events in May. First of which is our Working Mothers Luncheon, which we do typically on an annual basis. We're so excited to be back at the Florian Gardens this year. Would love to have some of our area working mothers come and learn more from Krista Ball, who is the owner of Gloss Boutique in our area. She has an incredible, inspiring story. And then rounding out that day, actually on May 12th, we're doing a signing day here at the Chamber for our youth apprenticeship students who have been hired on for this upcoming year. So we've got 5 or 6 employers who are excited to bring their new hires to the Chamber. We're going to highlight their decision to be hired on and working this summer. And I know that Royal Credit Union is going to be one of them, so thank you for that. And then last but not least, Business at the Gardens is coming up on May 17th. And if you want to get registered or attend any of these, please feel free to give the office a call here or check them out on our website. Thanks again for tuning in for episode 6 of Business Matters, talking about youth apprenticeship today.